what can we do as a Scrum Master to really wreck our teams? It's a gifted place where we can paralyze and destroy teams. We could be the saboteur in the camp. The first thing we can do is not walk the talk. And rank hypocrisy is one of the best ways to destroy Scrum teams. Do as I say, not as I do. People are smart enough to see through that nonsense. So that if you do not live the Scrum values, if you do not help and sustain the growth of trust, if you do not model empirical behavior of transparency, inspection, and adaptation, you will wreck your Scrum team. Politics destroys trust. Playing favorites destroys trust. Lack of openness destroys trust. Lack of respect destroys trust. An excessive use of courage, an excess of the Scrum values is as damaging as a deficit in Scrum values. All of this is examples of not walking the talk. Walking the talk is absolutely critical for us to inhabit the space of a true leader that serves. Hey, isn't it meant to be a servant leader? It changed in the Scrum Guide because too many people read the first bit and ignored the second bit. Most people read that as a servile leader. They saw the Scrum Master as a minor admin functionary. You know, they edit tickets in the system, they book the meetings, they muck around with calendar schedules, you know, they're the scribe. That is a very passive, servile accountability to the team. You are a true leader that serves. And unless you grow your team to do all that stuff, you're not helping them. The more you do for the team, the less value you're adding. And this comes into impediments as well. You should be educating the team on how to solve impediments so you can go after the bigger impediments. The team should get really good at solving stuff themselves so you can go after organizational challenges. Coaching your leadership, coaching your stakeholders, making sure your product owner is properly supported. These are all the stances of a true leader. And as Stephanie and I explained in our book, there's a number of choices you can make, and actively making a choice, taking action, is a clear option to effective Scrum Masters. Thinking that you can lie back and just ask coaching questions and what do you think and what would you like to do? How do you think you should go about it is an appropriate stance to take, but not the only stance. Sometimes you will step into the consultant space and say, look, the daily scrum's 15 minutes long, so I'm going to stop you all at the end of 15 minutes, and we're going to figure out how we can execute this event within the time box. That is being an effective Scrum Master. Now, as we're doing this, everyone's got their style. Like, my style of Scrum Master is different to others, as you probably picked up if you've watched some of my stuff. Is I don't have any problems being directive. I don't have any problems calling people out, having a conversation. Sometimes that's not where I need to be. And what I must model, and I do aim to work on, is being open for feedback. Because if we're going to walk the talk, we need to be empirical, which means I need to inspect and adapt as much as the team, as much as anyone else, right? So as part of walking the talk, you need to be open for tough feedback. Now, it's also important here, just because it's feedback doesn't mean you have to change. And I've had some tough conversations where people said, I don't think you did that the right way. And I'm like, well, maybe I didn't, but at the time it was the best thing. I'll consider your feedback and think about how I behave from this point onwards. So accepting feedback gracefully, adapting it, tuning the way you walk the talk, you hold the team accountable, you help the team be more effective as a team. This is all part of being an effective Scrum Master. So if we don't walk the talk, if we're closed for feedback and just carry on regardless in whichever manner you want to do, and just not really serve the team and not lead, I will give it a matter of weeks before that team becomes truly dysfunctional.